I have been spamming this man for the better part of a year, and it finally happened. We have been tagging, we've been spamming. I had to run up to him at the Olympias. I wonder if he even remembers that.
I've lost 60 pounds in the last 89 days. And I've been tagging you every day for the last 35 days, trying to get you to follow me. On Instagram.
You're nasty to your face.
Greg Doucette just called me out, and the title is, "This is Ridiculous." So I'm expecting fully for this to be the most inflammatory piece of content on the internet, especially because he chose Will Tennyson's video to do this on. Eesh. All right, let's watch this thing.
3 times a day. I'm getting up in the morning. I'm going to shoot myself with 9 holes. Rub cream all over my body. Bro, jerk off like Will Tennyson. It's easier. Thank me later, big boy.
Oh man, we're off to a bad start. All right, let's see what happens. Holy shit. This is like one of those things that you don't actually expect is ever going to happen, but you keep fighting for it. Yeah.
Coach Greg, in today's video, I'm going to be going over the world's most extreme methods of weight loss. And so
I just want to give you guys a little shout out here. It is currently 7 in the morning. I was doing my treadmill when I got a text from Will Tennyson, and all he sent me was this photo of his screen on his computer that had the thumbnail for this video. I have never jumped off the treadmill that fast in my life. I literally saw that, ran upstairs, woke up my entire household, took a shower, and here we are, filming this reaction so you can get to see it today. As I apply this copper peptide cream to my loose skin.
And so he starts by putting on the skin cream. He's lost 150 pounds. Clearly he's got loose skin. Remember, no amount of skin cream is going to prevent you from having loose skin when you're losing 150 pounds.
Up next.
Is Greg being nice to me?
9 different things from Transcend. That's a lot. I'm sponsored with Transcend, and I'm using various things in my routine. For example, testosterone, I'm on HRT, using Cialis, Viagra on occasions. But let's see what he's using.
Yeah.
Right, you'll be taking every single one of these, right? Correct?
I mean, I prefer to take things that alter my reality, not my natty status.
Do peptides make you not natty though?
Yes, of course they make you not natty, depending on which ones. There are some that are in fact natural, but even if you're on the Wolverine stack, BPC 157, TB 500, and so on, these are supplements that I'm on. You're not natural, but do you need to be? We got NAD plus.
Greg is being nice to me. What the is going on?
Is he competing in drug-tested sporting competitions? I don't think so. The guy was close to 400 pounds, and so whatever it takes to get him leaner is going to make him far healthier. And you're thinking, yeah, but how can this be healthy, injecting all these things? He was almost 400 pounds. Anything to get him to lose the weight is going to make him healthier. And he states he's getting regular blood work, and he's healthy.
And it also helps with muscle retention while cutting so hard. So I'm not actually like losing any
There's
muscle
no way
retention.
that's natty.
I mean, it
Humans
might
cannot do that.
And so Will is all on this. There's no way that's natty, and it isn't. Of course it's not.
Melanotan, this is a little bit of an interesting one. It helps with erectile dysfunction, which unfortunately I am cursed with.
It also helps you to get darker skin. Mike Israetel. Maybe Mike Israetel, if he was partnered up with Transcend, he'd currently have a pro card, but no.
We have Pendecta Arginate in terms of helping with inflammation and everything. This in combination with the TB 500 has completely helped my Crohn's go into remission.
And bro, he had Crohn's. Crohn's is a very serious illness. It's a disease. I had an ex-girlfriend in the past that suffered from this, and so I know that Crohn's is not as healthy as last time. And so if his Crohn's is under remission and he's using all these things and he's getting regular blood work and they're telling him that he's healthy, how can we argue with him? And so if you're quick to write in the comments, oh my God, he's injecting all these things, it's not healthy. Does he not look healthier? Bro lost 150 pounds and feels incredible.
Like people, he's actually being nice to me. I don't think, okay, seriously, when you started watching this, did you think that this was going to be a nice piece or the most inflammatory piece of content on the internet? Knowing Greg and knowing what he's been doing really lately, he's been on this like absolute tangent, just crushing people's weird habits, and I thought he was going to be a dick. Wow. People say, oh, you're not natty, you're not this, you're not that. Why would I want to be natty when I can be healthy?
I mean, nail in the coffin, mic drop. Why would I want to be natty if I can be healthy? Imagine this. You're sick, you're on your deathbed, and somebody says if you inject testosterone or growth hormone, you're not going to be sick anymore. Would you not want to do it? Oh, but then I won't be natural. You're laying on your deathbed. Do you not want to be healthy, to be alive? And so, fuck being natty if it means that you're not healthy.
I had to wear gauze between my butt cheeks. That was honestly the one line that I thought he was going to shred apart. And he just absolutely saved me. Wow. For the last 4 or 5 years because I was constantly bleeding. I don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, I think I'd prefer to be using some peptides and so on if it prevented me from needing to wear gauze between my butt cheeks.
I think it's one of those things where, like, and this is why I really used to care about what the trolls would say online, but now I could not care whatsoever, because if you've never been in a situation where your entire body is fighting you to the point where I was actively bleeding every single day out of, you know, where the sun don't shine. Why would I care what you have to say if these little peptides, if these tools made it so I didn't have to be bleeding all day?
How many syringes a day do you inject?
It goes up to 9 syringes a day.
Why? Bro, did you know that you can mix into the same syringe? Rather than poking yourself 9 times a day, try combining them into the same needle. That's what I do. Why poke so many holes into your body when you can poke fewer holes? Fewer holes, the better.
That's what she said.
Some people say
9.
Okay, let me clarify this. When I first started peptides, and I wasn't sure if there was going to be any sort of chemical mixing or any sort of chemical reaction to mixing the peptides, sorry, I should say. Of course, then I was being incredibly cautious, and I was trying to get like 100% efficiency out of every peptide that I was taking, because why wouldn't I? Now, later, I learned some peptides you can mix, some will have different reactions with each other. So definitely do your research before you start just combining everything in your needles, because again, that can be not great. You can have chemical reactions that can cause some crystallization of the liquids, and this is just like Pharma 101. So you definitely don't want to just be mixing everything in one needle, but no, like on average, it wasn't, well, it's not actually 9, it was more like 3.
In the morning, we do our first set of cardio fasted.
Why? Bro, you don't have to do fasted cardio. I get it. You're trying to lose 150 pounds in a year and it worked, but you can eat and then go and do your cardio. You don't have to do it fasted.
What we're aiming.
Let me talk about fasted cardio. If you're doing fasted cardio purely for the sake of fat burn, I think I've read places that it's like a 1 to 2 to maybe just 5% increase in your fat burn. That's not why I was doing it. I was doing fasted cardio because I didn't want to do it. Do you see where I'm going with this? The whole reason why I was doing fasted cardio is because it sucked. And throughout this whole change of identity that I had to go through to actually lose the weight, I had to learn to enjoy to do things that sucked. Nobody wants to wake up at like 4, 5, 6 in the morning and the first thing you do is get on the treadmill. Nobody. You think, I didn't want to do it, but there's a reason why I was doing it when Will Tennyson just sent me that text message saying, hey, Greg Doucette just made a video about you. No, the entire reason I was doing that is because it sucks. And learning to do things that suck make it so that the next time you do it, it sucks a little bit less. And that translates to every other aspect of your life, whether it be fat loss, whether it be your relationships, whether it be your professional career. You need to learn to do things that you don't want to do so that you can get mental strength. So this wasn't for fat loss. I mean, yes, of course, doing cardio is incredibly important in any sort of fat burning journey, but the reason I was doing it fasted wasn't for fat burn. It was for this right here.
For here, we're going to do 25 minutes, but we need to have an average of at least 130 BPMs.
What if it's 129? It has to be at least 130. We're doing 25 minutes. What if you did 120 beats per minute and you went for 30 minutes? Would it really matter? Does it matter? I'll answer the question for you. Nope, it doesn't. And so rather than thinking I have to do a certain heart rate.
The whole 130 thing, I mean, yes, of course, I like being in zone 2. That just very much worked for me. But again, it was because I felt like I personally started struggling around 130 when I kept that up for longer than 15 minutes. So it wasn't, so again, yes, I could have done it for longer at an easier like heart rate and I would have sweat just as much. It was again purely because that's where I started struggling and I wanted to increase my cardiovascular performance. So The only way to do that is by, again, doing hard shit.
Rather than being so specific, it has to be 130.
And it didn't have to be 130. Sometimes I had some rougher days where it was at 125. Sometimes I'd even had really bad days and it was around 120. And that would be okay as long as I made sure to do my cardio. Again, fasted in the morning because it sucked. And then I did it again later, which we're gonna get to there.
Just have some fun.
Now, I don't know if you guys remember, but the last time we did this video, he was drinking 12 liters of water a day.
Why?
Before he even talks about this, I was water loading to then water cut into trying to hit 100 pounds in 6 months.
Bro, 12 liters. I mean, what are we, gone? What's next? You try to drink 50 cans of Premier Protein drink in one sitting? Certainly don't think he can drink that much. But you're also gullible while he's 2 steps ahead.
Unfortunately, we are only doing a very humble 7 or 8 liters. That's what we're aiming for.
Why are we drinking 8 liters of water? You don't need that much water.
Okay, Greg, before you even start talking shit about my water, when we filmed this video, I was 4 days out of my bodybuilding show, which means that I was actively at the top of my water load, and then I was going to then crush down to eliminate all the fluids of my body, which is something I would expect you to know, but you just maybe don't know that yet because we haven't gotten to that part in the video.
You don't? What is it, 1 liter for every hole we're injecting? You're drinking all that water to see if it pops out? You remember the cartoons in the old days? Is that what he's tested for? Drinking 8 liters of water. Am I leaking out? Am I okay?
Around 20 minutes of abs before heading back to the house for meal number 1.
Why? Why are we doing 20 minutes of abs? What did that benefit us? I do 0 abs. Zaddy does Zetto abs. Bro, you've got 150 pounds that you've lost. You got a lot of loose skin. All the sit-ups in the world not getting you a clearly defined six-pack.
I'm just gonna put this here. Greg, I really hope you see this video. I'm gonna make this an Instagram post and make sure you see this. Eating your words there, buddy.
And so you're wasting your time. Rather than going and doing a 25-minute walk and 20 minutes of abs, why not just fuck off for 90 seconds and go eat breakfast and start your day?
Coach Greg.
Thank me later, big boy.
Meal 1,
Yo, this man is unhinged. He is off the chains. This is ridiculous.
I believe egg whites, eggs, and then for the surprise twist, oatmeal.
Yes, we're gonna have some oatmeal in there.
Oh God, no, not this.
Egg whites, eggs, and oatmeal? Why? When you could be using my cookbook.
Yo, Greg, I'm just saying, if you want to send me your cookbook, it might help me. It might help me stay. It might help me maintain my weight loss. I'm just going to put that out there. If you want to send it to me, I would have no problem reviewing some of those recipes that you have in there. Just saying.
Consuming an entire container of spinach with his first meal. Now remember, I'm a competitive bodybuilder. I've gone through every diet in the world. I know what it's like to be starving. And this is the exact kind of thing that I would do when I was getting perhaps several weeks out from a show, but not for breakfast. If you can't make it through the morning and lunch, the easiest time of the day, to not cheat on your diet, then it's too much. You should not have to resort to eating high volume food to this extent already in the first meal of the day. Now, I'm not saying that never do this, but if you have to resort to doing this for meal 1, after already having done cardio, it's too much.
So how many calories?
But like you just said, Greg, you would do this several weeks out of a bodybuilding show, and that's exactly what was happening. So just saying.
You're eating a day right now.
I'm doing something called carb cycling, so I have my high, moderate, and low days. Today's a high day, which means we're going to be having around 2,100 calories, give or take.
Bro's eating 2,100 calories on his high calorie day. He's 222 pounds, ripped muscles. Guy's jacked. 2,100 calories. And for breakfast on my high carb...
I'm going to clip that and use that for the rest of my life.
Guy's jacked. Guy's jacked. That's your high carb day. I hate to see the low carb day.
One peptide that I actually...
My low carb days were 2 rice cakes. That was all the carbs I had.
But dieting in 1,500 calorie deficits such as this, to me, it's too much. And I think there are healthier ways than this. Obviously, it's better that he does this than weigh 400 pounds, but could he not find a healthy balance?
There is another spot.
I'm so proud of this. Like, just seeing somebody like Greg, who's obviously been through the ringer in terms of the bodybuilding, the diets, and the cardios and everything, seeing a person of his caliber even admitting that what I was doing is difficult, that's cool.
And each one of these containers is an entire pack of sugar-free Jell-O.
Did they just say that they're each going to have 4 containers of sugar-free Jell-O? I mean,
Okay, I mean, I saw this one coming. For those who are new to this channel that haven't actually followed anything other than this video, just so you know, there was an extremely short period of time where I was playing around with Jell-O and trying that out. So 4, I think that lasted about a week before I realized that it was running havoc on my GI tract, and then I just cut it. And then I would like only introduce it in the worst parts where I was actually starving. So pretty much like 2 weeks out of the show, right before doing the water loading, because by then you can't have any processed foods anymore.
and so in my opinion, man needs to go and get some counseling. Now, I don't say this lightly. Mike Israetel, he can benefit from counseling. Many people develop body dysmorphia. You were once 400 pounds. He just entered a bodybuilding competition. He's continuing to diet. Eventually, he's going to get as lean as he can get, and then what? Once your body gets as low as it possibly can go, it's then going to have less and less energy, brain fog, and so on. And obviously, he's limiting those difficulties with the help of his peptides. But eventually, enough is going to be enough. And you can't continue to diet. And then what? It's all about having the balance. And in my opinion, psychological counseling would in fact help.
We're gonna have, to be very fair, I do agree with them. Ever since, I mean, everything he just said there was completely spot on. Ever since the show has been really rough, sort of like readjusting to what is my new normal. And I actually just restarted doing my cardios in the morning, like last week? Because before that, I had just, not that I'd fallen off the wagon, it's just like, I felt like this lack of sense of direction where I didn't really know where to go, which, like he just said, I went from 400 pounds to as lean as I could be. I almost feel like there wasn't much road to sort of keep going on. So, I absolutely do agree with this, and the whole counseling thing is something I have been sort of dabbling in the back of my head. It's just almost like pulling the trigger on that. It seems to be a little bit more of a mental hurdle than anticipated, but no, he's absolutely right.
Bro.
So how much strength have you lost from day 1 to now?
So much, like all of it.
And so how's it worked out on his strength? His response, all of it. I was chasing a 700-pound deadlift. I was getting close. What can I deadlift now? 405. And why do you think that is? How much strength do you have when you think you're varying your calories from 1400 to 2100? And so let me respond to you this. If your relative strength is going down, you're dieting too quickly. You should not get weaker pound for pound than when you first started. And so if you see your strength suddenly beginning to fall, that is the time to at least eat at maintenance. Regroup a little bit. Stop the diet, main gain, and then see what happens.
I absolutely very much agree with this. This is something that everybody should be doing. You should, like, nobody should be essentially crushing their weight as much as I did. Like, that is an absolute fact. So yes, Greg, I absolutely do agree with that. It's just also, I had a goal and nothing was going to get in the way of it. Now, losing my strength meant very little in the grand scheme of things, if that meant that I didn't have to be depressed all day anymore. So trading depression for loss of, trading that lack of depression for loss of strength, to me was a very easy trade-off when my goal was purely, in this case, aesthetic in terms of the competing in the bodybuilding show, which I won.
If I lose, I'm gonna be in trouble. I don't know what that's gonna look at. Shit. I know the danger is there. It's happened before, so I know I'm not immune to it.
So you've lost 100 pounds before?
In 2012.
And so in 2012, he'd once lost over 100 pounds, but then regained all the weight and then some. And so what makes him think this is going to be any different? Remember?
I'm going to stop right there. What I think is going to make this different is the amount of self-analysis that I put into it. Now, it took me, almost 3 weeks, I guess, to sort of catch myself after the show. The last time I never caught myself, right? It was just like one thing leading to the next, and I didn't really have that support system there, or like all these little fail-safes, essentially, to keep myself from gaining all the way back. But this time, I noticed, I mean, look, like, let's be very honest with each other here. I have YouTube that I want to be doing, so I have to sort of keep that minimal amount of physique that I believe should be done, because I also believe you have to lead from the front. So I know I'm not going to gain the weight back because I changed my identity to not be the fat guy anymore. Now I'm the fit YouTube guy, right? And that to me is the one thing that's going to save me from it.
For the men's transformation division of summer shredding, number 12, Simon.
And so he wins first place overall and $1,000. And so now what? He's won the competition. He's got $1,000 to his name. I'm not sure if that's as much money as he would make during a year of work, but it's now time for him, I guess, to move out of the house to get his job again. Tell his girlfriend, I'm now going to get a job. I'm going to be working. I'm not going to be going to the gym 2 and 3 times a day. And so I'm looking forward to seeing his results. What will he look like in 1 year from now? I certainly hope he's able to keep the weight off and maintain perhaps a healthy diet, continue doing cardio and eating perhaps a little bit more food. And so
this is another one of those big things that people didn't really take away from what I was doing, but I didn't just quit my job to not work, right? I mean, I went into the full-time realm of content creation, which is, funny enough, what I was already doing for other people. So I just applied it to myself. It's almost ridiculous to say, but I almost sort of knew the recipe ahead of time in terms of consistency and the type of content that had to be made to get some sort of traction. So that obviously worked, but it went farther than that, right? I create different brands. I have a 90-day program. So if you're interested in that or joining the community of already, we're almost at 100 people that have been through the 90-day program that have lost a very substantial amount of weight. We're almost at 2,000 pounds lost in 2 rounds of the 90-day program. So that's definitely something to be taken away from there. But I started a coaching business and just everything from the sponsors to the social media to everything. It's obviously paying off in dividend to the point where I don't actually have to go to work anymore, which is amazing. And that is all because of every single one of you that have supported me this entire time. So thank you. But yes, I'm really excited for the part 2 of this video when Greg does his where is he now 1 year later. I have to say I'm a little bit disappointed that he didn't talk about, like, the one thing, if you've seen me talk about Greg on any of these like videos and stuff, I was always waiting for him to comment on the genetics, so that means we're just gonna have to try harder to get him to talk about it. But until then, I am stunned. I really thought Greg was going to tear me to pieces in this video. Which, I mean, some aspects, I mean, yes, of course, I agree the diet was a little bit ridiculous, or at least the portraited diet in this video, when it really wasn't that intense most of the time, but I really thought this was going to be like an inflammatory disaster piece where I was going to have to damage control, but there's one thing Greg said in this video that I really enjoy, and it's that when he was talking about all the peptides, he said, bro was 400 pounds, doing any of this is healthier than being 400 pounds. And that's just understanding basic physiology and just, biology, that when you are that heavy, your chances of cardiovascular injury, your chances of stroke, your chances of renal, liver failure are incredibly high because of the stress on your organs. So it's absolutely amazing to see him with such a medium intensity response. So Greg, thank you. If you want to send me that cookbook, I mean, hey, I'm here for it. And now I'm just waiting for the day where we get to meet in person, because we all know that's going to have to happen. Until then, everybody, hope you have a wonderful day. And let's change the world together.